But anyway, let's go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop hundreds of Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms. The Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Always love talking to this guy when he makes time for our program. The great Ricky Williams hopping on with us here. Ricky, how you doing, man? Is everything good?
Everything's wonderful. Yeah.
Have you had any interest in Messi? Are you a soccer guy at all? Like, this is really sweeping the nation over here in South Florida.
I mean, I'm fascinated with sports in general, and obviously with wonderful athletes, and so it's great to see the international game, make a big splash here in the U.S. So it's fun to watch the hoopla around it all.
It's a lot of hoopla, dude. I guess I just didn't fathom. I knew soccer, obviously, the most popular sport in the world. I didn't realize, they're crazy about this dude, Ricky. They're insane about it.
It's like Michael Jordan. It's like the Michael Jordan of football. It's wonderful.
It's a wild thing, man. I want to ask you about this because you are into the stars and astrology, and my producer Jennifer alerted me today on the show that they have apparently discovered a planet twice as big as Earth and possibly covered by ocean. How much would Ricky Williams be into intergalactic travel? Like, was that something that really interests you? Like, if you had the opportunity, if it wasn't a huge task, would you want to go check out another planet? Would you be into seeing other life forms? Where is your interest in this?
May I add, though, that not the Earth, but this planet is filled with water. It is just ocean, as you can see there.
If the opportunity came my way, I would say, well, this isn't coming my way for me to say no to. And so if it showed up in my lap, I'd have to say yes, just because it showed up in my lap.
Well, do you think, what is your thoughts on, though? Do you feel like you'd want to know, are they nice? Are we, I don't even know, how we would go about invading. Can we show up on the door? Is that cool to go to another planet? What have you given thought to on this with the idea of other life forms and what our relationships would be like with them?
Yeah, it's kind of the same answer. I think if something inside of us made us go look for it and we found something, it's probably because there needs to be some exchange, some interchange. So I would just have faith that if we're aware of these people and we're aware of these other entities, that it means we're supposed to engage with them.
Talking to Ricky Williams. Now, Ricky, we got the football season is coming up this week. You're going to be in Phoenix for a couple of events this week. Can you tell us a little bit about what you got coming up?
Yeah, so as cannabis is becoming more mainstream, my brand Heisman has seen a lot of opportunities to really get the word out, and so we're partnering with the Consumption Lounge in Tempe, and where you can come, consume, hang out, and watch all the football games. And to me, it's mind blowing that, when I was playing football, I got in so much trouble for this. And now we can all come together, celebrate and enjoy the sport we love. So I'm excited to be there and come hang out with people and watch them. To me, the first week of football season is always the most exciting because there's so many question marks and there's so much hype. You get to see what's real. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, I don't remember a Dolphin season in a while that has been this. The fans are crazed for this year, Ricky, because of obviously how fun the offense was and Tua and all that. As a former Dolphin, do you sense that hype at all from fans? How exciting this season could be from them between Tua coming back and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and what that offense could be?
Well, here's the thing. Like I was saying, in the beginning of the season, there's always hype. Right. And some teams, they have to use some fans, they have to use their imagination to create the hype. But I think what the Dolphins did last year, there's real justification for the hype. And so, of course, I think it's been a long time since Dolphin fans have had a reason to be excited about coming into a season like this.
You when you took your break away from football, was there any apprehension on what it physically was going to feel like again? Or did you did you feel like it was going to be business as usual? Because Tua, his season comes to an end with the concussions and all that stuff. There's a lot of wondering, am I going to come back? Now he's, taking his steps to do some jujitsu, but when the games are real, when you came back, was there any apprehension? Do you feel like there's going to be from him about what the physical feel of the game is going to be like?
Yeah, it was a little bit later in my career, and I think I play a different position where it's all about contact. And but my mentality, and it's harder when you're a quarterback, but my mentality was be the hammer, not the nail. And as quarterback, you're kind of always going to be the nail. And so I think the best thing that he could have done for himself is do something to make himself feel confident that he's stronger and he's in a better position to be able to deal with being a quarterback. Because it's really a mental thing, regardless of what happens, he needs to be 100% focused on winning, not on protecting himself from something bad happening.
Did you find like that when you got into like meditation and all that type of stuff, like later in your career, did you find like that made you a better player? Or did you just feel like you went into a game better handling of that type of stuff?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me with meditation is it helped my body recover faster. But both just the relaxation and when you're in a relaxed state, the body can do what it does better. But also mentally, when your mind is clear, again, you're not using resources worrying about things, and so you have more resources for your body to recover. And also you're clear, and I think that my reaction time was a little bit faster, and I think staying healthy and getting injured, it really is a split second. And so I definitely think my meditation practice helped me stay healthy and recover faster.
Because I'm like wondering with him doing jujitsu, I was like that, just having that extra mental preparation of having something just, I guess, also in your back pocket. I don't know if it's going to work in games or not, but I feel like it can't hurt the idea that he feels like, hey, I've done everything I can, and I've even gone outside of football to try and prepare myself more. And so I'm hoping that makes him even feel mentally more comfortable going into this year.
I mean, the reality of it is, what other choice did he have? He had to do something, because if he didn't do something about the status quo, everyone is going to be nervous and afraid that something's going to happen. So at least now the conversation isn't so much about what everyone's afraid of. It's about what he's done to make sure that he's in a better position to succeed.
What, Ricky, what have you thought about the whole running back thing? It feels like it becomes a bigger, earlier thing every single off season of guys not getting valued. And we obviously kind of saw that in a lot of ways with the Dolphins because they were rumored to get Dalvin Cook, and then they were in the Jonathan Taylor rumors. But, man, Jonathan Taylor's young and awesome, and his team seems like they have no interest in giving him long-term commitments. How have you been seeing all of this, the idea that teams are going even earlier of not committing to running backs and giving them long-term security?
Yeah, well, because it's not realistic that you're going to get security from a running back long term. The numbers show actually the opposite, that eventually they're going to get hurt. So and I experienced this firsthand. So my second year in New Orleans, Jim Haslett came in. Coach Ditka was fired after the first year, and Coach Haslett and we built our offense around me running the ball. And we got to week 10. We'd won 6 games in a row. We were on our way to the playoffs, and I break my ankle. And I could see the look on Coach Haslett's face when the doctor told him my ankle was broken. It was like his soul was broken. Because so much of what we built our offense on, our team on, was running the ball and playing good defense. And with me being gone 6 to 8 weeks, right? So the reality is running back is such a difficult position. It's hard to stay healthy, and so if you're asking to make this huge investment, it's rough. And from the running back's position, we want to do all we can do and give everything we want. But if we do that, there's a good chance we might get hurt. And so it's a really difficult position. But I think if people are realistic about what's going on, they'll come up with a solution. Maybe making sure that big time running back get paid more earlier in their career, and they're okay with the 1 year big contracts because that's more realistic. I mean, for me, when I was a running back, if I'd have been franchised, hell yeah, I'll take that.
You'll take the 10 million or the 11.
Hell yeah, as a running back, because you don't know.
Do you feel like, because you were, such an amazing, obviously in college as well, like do you think there's going to be any apprehension from young star running backs, because it is such an important part of the game? But do you think there'd be a way, like at the collegiate level, that they'll be taken care of more, or in a smarter way going into the pros, I guess, on mileage or things like that? Like, is there a path in that way?
I think so. I think that's a really insightful way to look at it. I think you have to just change how you think of running backs, and instead of thinking of running backs are people that we beat up, they're a very strategic piece in the chess game, and I think it's going to force the running back position to evolve. I think Bijan is a great example. He's a running back, but he's going to play in the slot a little bit. Might even play as a H-back a little bit. They're going to do a lot of different things with them, because the beauty of the running back position, at least the way I idealize it in my mind, is it's the most versatile player on the team. They can block, they can catch, they can run, they can do a lot of different things. So it's kind of like the queen in chess. And I think if the shift moves in that direction, then I think we'll see that position evolve a little bit.
Rick, I don't know if you saw, but during the playoffs last year, Mike McDaniel was accused of vaping on the sidelines. It was so cold in Buffalo that people had thought, is he vaping? Because I think people hear the way Mike McDaniel speaks, they think, I could see Mike McDaniel being a guy who would vape on the sidelines. What would Ricky Williams think of a coach that would vape on the sidelines? He seems like a very innovative guy, and all the things like that. I could definitely base on Mike McDaniel's personality. He's not the typical stuck-up coach. Would you have liked a coach that was that open to that?
Well, it's some people might not see it as being the same thing, but when I played for Coach Saban, he always had a big ass dip in, and oh my god!
Was he walking around with the solo?
I don't know if it was dip. I don't know if it was dip or if it was true, but he always had something. He was always on something. So to me, it's just, I would respect the coach because the coach is being real, and coaches have to be creative, and they have a whole lot of stress. So if they're not dipping or they're not vaping, they go home, they're pounding something. It's just the nature. It's just the nature of a high stress job. Is you need some help in relieving all that pressure.
Especially if you're like, I made you just like looking at the same thing all over. Like you would want to like open your mind a little bit to some different things. Like it's especially if you're trying to create plays and things like that. I feel like Mike McDaniel, because I know Mike McDaniel's immediately got to be like, no, that's not what happened. But what if it was? I feel like that would be. I feel like people would. There'll definitely be some people who would like, their stigma's still there, Ricky. But I do feel like it is different than it was obviously when you were, people were getting so mad at you for the way it was back then. It's different now on some level, yeah.
Hell yeah! I mean, I think this is actually an opportunity. I mean, I have a cannabis company. I'd sponsor him. I'd take care of him.
Nice.
Seriously, because it's a great message. You're in a high stress situation. You have to make decisions. If you find the right Heisman vape, you'll be good.
How else are you like?
Take your team to the playoffs.
The wide receiver should run the ball this time.
Yeah, exactly. See.
So Ricky, you got your events coming up in Tempe this weekend. Like, what do you when watching the games together with the fans? Like, what is that experience like with you now? How much do you enjoy that stuff?
I love it. I think sometimes it's not so great for the fans because I get really focused on the game, and someone's trying to talk to me when I'm watching a 3rd and 6 and seeing what the team is going to do. I won't be rude, but I might be a little like wait until the play's over. No, but it's great. It's great. I love talking to fans, and I love being able to answer their questions in real time because I'm a student of the game, and anytime I can share my knowledge of football with other people and help them really appreciate the game, I always love that opportunity.
I get what it's like that. My co-host Leroy's out today, but it's the same thing when I'm watching a game with him. He sees it on a level, and it's almost like when he's speaking it to me, it's like I need Rosetta Stone. I don't understand what you guys see things in a completely different way. I'm just like, how come you guys didn't run it that time?
Oh, football.
Just a dumb way about it, Ricky. But before we get you out of here, Ricky, Zach Thomas went into the Hall of Fame recently. Your time with him, you have memories of Zach Thomas. What's something that just stuck out about him in his career with you?
My first memory, and I think it's the one that sticks out the most, was my freshman year at Texas, and Zach was a senior at Tech, and they had a really good team and a really good defense. And as a freshman fullback, it was my job to block him. And so I just remember it was one of my first challenges as a young football player, and we destroyed him. But in the NFL, being able to watch him week in and week out, and his preparation and his grit and his intelligence, and one of the best pure football players I ever saw. I was very lucky in Miami to play with the guys on that defense. It was really cool.
Ricky, we always appreciate the time, man. Thanks so much for giving us some time, and best of luck with everything going on with Heisman and your events this weekend. And Tempe, if you guys are out there, Dolph fans want to go check out Ricky Williams, go check him on out. And thanks for the time, Ricky. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There you go, Ricky Williams.